Hello, my loves. Welcome back to my channel. I didn't intend to bring you another apartment build so soon, but quite honestly, I recorded another video, which you're going to see very soon. And I was talking about things in there before the live stream that we got yesterday. So I decided to post this video instead. This is a little bit different because, as you all know, I am building up for my save file, and I never show you the Sims that I'm creating, mostly because I plan to go back and create those Sims. I don't like to have the Sims created first because then when I'm building and I'm moving time or testing, those Sims are progressing in their stories. So I don't want that to happen. But in this case, I decided that I'm going to keep the pre-made townies within the Sims. So that includes this little family here, the roomies. There are 3 roommates living together. We have Akira, Miko, and Darling. Now, Darling is a teenager, so I'm not quite sure why they are living with Miko and Akira, but previously they were sharing a room with Miko, and I thought this apartment is big enough, more than big enough, to have 3 full-size bedrooms. So what's with the funky layout and why are they sharing a room? So I had a lot of fun building this apartment. I think it came together really well. It is the apartment next door to the apartment I built in my last video, where I'm also focusing on the Modern Lux kit. After playing with it the second time around, I do really like it. While I am not for the idea of kits, and it definitely is very cash grabby, I do like this kit, and I think that it looks really beautiful. And I learned from my mistakes last time to not bulldoze this lot and instead to manually delete everything, because if you bulldoze, you might have some issues with the floors. Now, I go with this layout. It's a little funky, but still allows all 3 of the people who live here to have their own rooms, and each of the rooms has its own very individual design. In my mind, Akira and Miko are a little bit later in their career, and I did cheat that with MC Command Center so that when I load into this save file, I'm able to go in and see Miko and Akira exactly where I want them to be with the storyline that I want. Miko is supposed to have a crush on Akira, and Akira is supposed to be totally oblivious, but none of these Sims actually have any relationship with each other aside from the basic relationship you got when you introduce your Sim to someone else, and that just feels kind of like a lazy oversight because it's pretty easy to go in and establish a relationship. If the story is that she has a crush, can we have some kind of romantic interaction? I so wish that we had one-sided relationships, because I think that that would be really fun. But as it is, I went in and I fixed that. So Miko and Akira do have some kind of relationship. They just have different feelings about each other. They all know each other. And since they're higher up in their careers, they've been living together for some time. And in my version of this story, Darling has just moved in with them and they are a teenager. They have a better relationship with Miko. I'm going to say that Miko has known them for quite some time, and Miko offered them a place to stay. So while the rest of the apartment is pretty well furnished, you can definitely tell that not everything is perfectly matched up, especially when it comes to the living room. It's pieces they found and put together over time, which I personally think is very realistic to how they would play. But Akira and Miko have a very, in my mind, nice rooms with nice furniture. Miko's room feels a little bit young, but I still try to age it up with the level of expense of the furnitures here. But Miko's personality really, I think, is this room. And then I gave Akira his own room as well. And then Darling also has their own room, but Darling's room is a very eclectic mix of furniture. And I purposely made it younger to reflect that Darling is a teenager and they don't have the funds to furnish their bedroom as well as Miko and Akira are able to furnish their bedrooms. They can't go out and spend $2,000 on a bed, for example. I gave them very much furniture that reflects what a dorm might look like, and that is what I focused on while I was building this. And previously, this hallway, there was one major bedroom that I think belonged to Akira, and it blocked off the entrance to the balcony. I was no, let me move it so that the hallway specifically opens up to the doorway. It is a very funky hallway, but honestly, sometimes in spaces in real life, you do have awkward and funky spaces. So I think that it makes sense for this build. And I love these curtains and how it comes together. Yes, Miko's room feels a little bit young, but I do think it is an accurate reflection of Miko's personality. In my mind, she's a gamer and a painter, and she really wants to be a politician, and she's a little bit higher up in her career at that point. Akira as well has a pretty simple room. In my mind, Akira is like very dark and moody, so his bedroom was a reflection of him being dark and moody, and I make sure to give him a computer space and a little reading nook. I imagine Akira retreats to his bedroom quite a lot, so it needs to be this kind of little sanctuary, and I focus on the computer because he works in technology, and it wouldn't make sense for him not to have a really nice computer. I don't give him a gaming computer like Miko has. I give him a regular computer because, again, Miko in my mind is a gamer, but Akira works in the technology field and is doing a lot of program development, so he's going to want a computer with different specs. And out of all of the rooms, I think the bedrooms are my favorite, and Darling's room specifically just looks really nice. I'm so happy with how it turns out, and I do think it's reflective of that story I was trying to tell for them, that they don't necessarily have like matching pieces, and perhaps they're getting pieces from like donation centers. Sometimes libraries will give away like old furniture, or old centers will give away old furniture, so they went out and grabbed some stuff. They got a bit of a nicer bed, but still relatively inexpensive, kind of like an IKEA bed. Maybe they got this mirror secondhand for like 50 simoleons, and of course they spent their time decorating the rest of their bedroom with just some pieces they were able to find around. San Myshuno has a love of music, got some posters to start with because they couldn't afford anything that would have been like more quote-unquote luxurious or more expensive. This is really just an eclectic room of things that they were able to gather over time, and I'm really happy with how Darling's room comes together. You can see I go for a very yellow and orange color scheme, maybe subconsciously because of Darling's love of basketball. I don't know, but I think that their room is quite cute. But speaking of stuff packs, I heard from the live stream recaps yesterday. I didn't watch the live stream because your girl was at work, but I did hear that stuff packs have made their return, and I'm so excited. Honestly, I liked stuff packs, and I was really sad to see them go, especially I think that the last stuff packs we got before they stopped making them was actually like pretty good. It was very well fleshed out, and in comparison to kits, and when you're paying half the price for not even half of the stuff, you're literally just getting stuff. Seeing the return of stuff packs, it's very exciting. In case you missed it, we are getting like some kind of chef kit, home chef hustle. I don't remember the exact name of it, but that is a stuff pack that we are getting. And stuff packs, if you're not familiar with them, have build and buy items, have cast items, and have gameplay items, just to a much, much smaller scale than what a game pack would have. I'm excited for the return of them, but the home chef hustle kit is a really interesting stuff pack to return to, because quite honestly, it feels like Cool Kitchen Stuff Part 2. Of all the stuff packs to come back with, why a kitchen stuff pack? It's not like we're short on kitchen necessities, but I'm going to reserve my judgment. I think that the option to have like a food selling table is really fun. Of course, we already have selling tables and selling mechanics within the game. If you have city living, you have a selling table and like a standings like stand where you can sell your paintings as well and start yard sales. And then there's also one in Jungle Adventure, and I think there's a base game one, but I'm not quite sure of that. So we already have that mechanic, so it's going to be a reskin of that mechanic, hopefully with some new functional pieces, because you're going to go in and sell your food. I'll be curious to see how that works. I think that that is fun. While I'm excited for the waffle maker, I hope that we also get some other appliances, and I do like the art aesthetic of the build and buy stuff. I think that would be a fun pack to play with, but I will reserve my judgments and opinions until the pack actually comes out. And I would just say I'm very happy to see the return of stuff packs. I think that the Sims team can do some fun things with it. But the main thing that I wanted to focus on for this video is quite honestly the return of Project Rene and more information we've gotten about Project Rene. So we know that it's going to be free to download when the game is ready and released. And while I think the art aesthetic is beautiful, just like the Sims 4 art aesthetic is beautiful, and I'm happy that it will be free for players to download, prepare for more cash grabs, because I think that they're going to separate out every possible thing that they can separate out so that you have to buy it. So the example they gave, right, was like weather might be base game, and that is fantastic. I'm glad that weather will be base game or can be base game for Project Rene so that anyone has access to weather, because in The Sims 4, if you want any kind of weather, you need to have seasons, and if you want to experience snow, you can have a snowy escape and Mount Kumarebi, but outside of that, you do not experience weather. And the example they gave is that weather might be base game in Project Rene, but they might later on sell a winter's activities pack where you can build snowmen and you can do like winter sports activities. And like that sounds kind of interesting, but it also makes it seem like any kind of micro activity that you can do within the game, you're going to have to purchase. And I'm very wary of that because as it is, The Sims is an expensive game. I wouldn't be surprised if it was the most expensive game. If you have every single expansion and DLC that they sell, you could easily spend well over $1,000 on The Sims. And I think that they are going to monetize that. And the reason I'm wary of it being free to download when it opens or when it releases is that means they're going to have to make money some way, and they're going to make that money by upselling you a bunch of things for your game. But the Project Rene, I think we've all assumed was The Sims 5 because they said the next generation of the Sims game, The Sims 5. But they said in the live stream that their plan is that The Sims 4 is going to continue alongside Project Rene, and brought up games like Herbs or some of the other Sims games that are kind of side ones like Sims Castaway. And I'm wondering, is their intention for Project Rene to be kind of like that, especially since they're going to continue to expand and work on The Sims 4? I also have concerns about that because while I love The Sims 4, what else could they possibly add into the game? And quite honestly, with every new piece they add into the game gets more glitchy and broken. So there really needs to be a massive overhaul to the engine that the game was built on in order to expand on for like what, the 20 years they want to do it. Like, do they want to have The Sims 4 out for 20 years? I don't know, but we're at the end of this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. Let me know what your thoughts are on Project Rene and what your thoughts are on the return of the stuff pack. Are you excited for the Home Chef Hustle pack? Let me know, and I'm going to see you in my next video. Bye, everyone.